All right. On my last video, I talked about how any change that happens in your life, anything that you want to do, is going to take place on your mark. Meaning that the catalyst for all of that change, you are the focal point of focus for your reality, for your universe. You are that central point. All things happen on your mark, right? So when you're ready to transfer to your ideal reality, what you need to do with the recognition that this happens on your mark is you need to get set. Now, how do you get set? You got set by identifying the parameters of where it is that you're trying to go, and then simply dropping the anchors, and then having the faith to take action to keep moving in the direction that you're headed. Now, this is challenging to some because they never get here. They can never get past the idea of actually setting parameters and identifying what it is they actually want. So I'm gonna break this down a bit for you. Getting set is absolutely critical because in this infinite space that we find ourselves in, some call it the alternative space, some call it the mind of God. I prefer that. In this universe of infinite possibilities, your awareness can traverse anywhere. And there's so many triggers out here trying to pull your energy and get you to fuel certain thought forms that it's easy, if you're not anchored, if you're not grounded, to get pulled in different directions and then wonder why your life is so chaotic when you're having such chaotic thoughts on a day-to-day basis. So you need to set the parameters for where it is that you're trying to get to. That means clearly identifying what it is that you want. What does it feel like to live in that world that you'd like to occupy? What do you see every day? What do you hear? What are you doing? Who are you speaking to? What places are you going to? Who are you around? What's your day-to-day like? What's your night routine like? What's your morning routine like? Set the parameters for where it is that you're trying to go. And then drop the anchors. Getting set means dropping the anchors. So you need to identify what patterns of behavior lead towards your ideal goal. Those are your anchors. So if your goal sees you at a certain weight, then working out becomes an anchor because that pattern of behavior leads to an aspect of your vision coming true. Now, if your goal sees you as financially independent, then you need to start identifying ways and taking actions towards the different opportunities that are going to present themselves in your world. That means when somebody comes to you with an idea offering you to partner up on something, or when you just offhandedly have a random thought that, hey, I think I can do this, you don't cast it off as nonsense from afar. You see it as an anchor pulling you towards that ideal reality. And all you have to do is drop that anchor and habitually do the task. Dropping the anchor means that these are your core actions. This is what you do. Meaning, if yesterday you weren't somebody who worked out, today you are, because this is your anchor. This is your anchor to your world. And if you ever uproot that anchor, you'll be floating off in this alternative space, and who knows where you'll end up? Who knows? So it's critical that you identify what your anchors are. If your ideal version of wherever it is that you're trying to go is to an ideal relationship, then you need to identify what things are keeping you out of that. Where do you actually need to heal? Because your healing could become an anchor. If that ideal version of you is healed, then any action that you take towards healing then becomes an anchor pulling you towards that reality. It works almost in reverse, you see, because you think of it and you may think that dropping an anchor means tying yourself down to something that you don't want. But here we are tying ourselves to a version of ourselves that we do want. We're looking ahead and we're seeing, who is it that I am? Who is it that I can really be? What is this person like? What makes this person me? What makes me me in this ideal version of reality? You map it out. Write it down if you need to. Spend time in that world, feeling comfortable with who you are. Identifying the things that make you who you are in that reality. If you're a confident person in that reality, but you happen to be shy right now, then perhaps taking any type of actions towards building your confidence. There's all types of courses. There's all types of videos on YouTube to help you gain your confidence. Any actions that you take then becomes an anchor, pulling you towards a more confident version of yourself. If you've been traumatized and that version of you doesn't exhibit all of the characteristics commonly associated with someone who's been traumatized, then that shows that you've recovered from that trauma. You've healed that trauma. You've learned how to use that trauma as fuel, not necessarily be just blown by it. So any action that you take towards that then becomes an anchor for you, pulling you towards that reality, that ideal version of yourself. See, understand, no matter what, we're all creating our reality. You may say, oh, this sounds easy. It sounds like something that's a little too good to be true. And I promise you, no matter how it sounds, this is it. This is the way. You are creating your reality, whether or not you want to believe it or not. The thoughts that you think and your feelings towards them outpicture themselves in your world. Whether those thoughts were triggered by you or some outside influence that you've allowed into your awareness. So check what you're allowing into your awareness. Understand that anything that you want to change in your life changes on your mark. You are that central point in your life. You are the cause behind all of the effects in your life. And as soon as you take ownership of it, then you can begin to change the things that you see around you in your life. And to do that, you get set. Define the parameters of your ideal version of you. Make it crystal clear to you. It don't got to be crystal clear to everybody else. Don't talk to everybody else about this. This is about you. So get real with you. Get comfortable with you. Then drop the anchors. Now, when you drop the anchors, a curious thing is going to happen. People are going to start to look at you weird, especially if you're somebody who's been obese your whole life and one of your anchors is to work out and you've dropped that anchor and you ain't moving from it. Trust me. There'll be people looking at you like, oh, I wonder when you're going to fall off. If your anchor is something that's completely contrary to who you've previously been, to a perspective of this world that you previously occupied, a state that has previously been destructive, and now you're doing a complete 360, going a different direction, trust me, there will be hurdles that you need to face. And that's why we've dropped the anchor. Understand that nothing in this outside world can stop you from achieving your vision. If you dropped your anchors and you're moving towards it, unseen forces are lining up to aid you. That's how powerful you are. You simply have to decide it. Use your will, direct your body to move in a manner you decide it has to move. And all the universe delights with you on your journey, setting the path for you, putting the proper people, places, and situations in line for you. And all you got to do is stay focused. All you got to do is stay focused. It's easier to stay focused when you take the time to get set. If you take the time to identify all of the parameters of your ideal reality, when troubling signs come along on the road and it doesn't necessarily seem like the way you thought it should play out is how it's going to play out, you don't get discouraged because you understand that all of the universe is working in accordance to help you get where you need to go. So perhaps you don't see some trouble down the road. but you're being navigated around it. Listen, all things change on your mark. And when you're ready to surf this reality, get set. Define the parameters, drop the anchors. I love you. I want to see the fullest expression of you. This is a spark.